Chef Buck here, and today we're going to cook up some cornbread. Not as corny as some cornbreads. This is more of a cakey cornbread. This is like a cornbread that you could serve at your wedding.
What?
In fact, this is us trying to duplicate a recipe that we ate in Canada last winter. It was from a place that we ate it in Tofino. We would go to this restaurant, we would order this cornbread, and they'd grill it on the outside when they served it, and it was so desserty. It's really delicious. Now this is a skillet cornbread. So we're going to cook it in the oven in a heavy skillet. So the first thing you want to do, boom, put your oven on 350 and throw your skillet in the oven so that as your oven's heating, your skillet is heating, so that when we pour the corn batter in there later, it's going to get a nice crust on it. So boom, we got two bowls down here. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to add in our flour. Boom, a little all-purpose flour, and our cornmeal. Now this is kind of a regular plain Jane cornmeal, kind of a fine cornmeal. Now we've made this with coarsely ground cornmeal, this exact same recipe, and it's going to be more cornbready if you use the coarse cornmeal. But we're using this here because we want it to be more cakey, because we're trying to make that same desserty type cornbread that we had in Canada. And since it's a desserty cornbread, we're going to have sugar. And I got a cup of sugar in here. Now we made it with just 3/4 a cup last time.
It was delicious.
It was delicious and it was cakey, but we're going to go with the full cup this time. A little bit of salt, a little bit of baking powder. Now we'll just get these dry ingredients mixed up. Now we're going to throw together our wet ingredients, and we got 5 eggs.
What?
5 eggs. 5. Because like I said, this is going to be cakey. So we'll crack our eggs in here. So first thing we'll do is whisk up our eggs. Alright, so we got our eggs nice and smooth there. Let's toss in a little buttermilk. And now we got a little bit of canola oil. And then a little bit of vanilla.
It is cake.
And that's all there is to our wet ingredients, so we'll go ahead and mix these up. Alrighty, so we'll whisk it up and get a little bit of froth on there, boom. Now we're going to throw our dry ingredients in here. I like doing the dry into the wet, because that's how lazy people do it.
Well, that way you don't have some dry at the bottom that tries to block out the liquid. Cornbread recipes are pretty forgiving too.
Yes.
As long as you don't overmix them.
Exactly, so now we're going to mix up the dry with the wet.
You just want to just barely moisten the dry stuff.
Alrighty, so that's pretty good right there. There is our cornbread mix. Now let's get our skillet out of here. Be very careful with it if you're using a cast iron, you know. We need to get a little thingamabob on here, because one of these days I'm going to grab this like I have before in the past, and then I'm going to be hollering.
Well, why don't you leave the cloth on the handle?
Well, you know, that's something a genius would do, and I'm only a semi-genius. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of oil in our skillet. Yeah, it's a hot skillet, but, you know, we'll just carefully put oil all along the bottom and all along the sides. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and throw our batter into our hot skillet here. Squeegee all our batter out of here. It's going to fill up our skillet about that far. You don't want it full all the way to the top, because this batter is going to rise. We've already got our oven heated at 350. So we'll slide it in here on the center rack, and we'll let it cook away, see what happens. Beep, 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 beep. Alrighty, so it has been, boom,
Woo!
about 25 minutes, and it's looking promising.
Smells great already.
Alrighty, but we're going to leave it in the oven. We're not even going to open the oven. We're just going to reduce the temperature. So we've had it cooking at 350. So now I'll go ahead and put the temperature down to 200 degrees. And now we're going to go ahead and let it bake away for 15 more minutes. Beep, 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 beep. Alrighty, so it has been 15 minutes. Pull it out.
Woo, smells great.
Doesn't look as pretty on the top as I would like it to look. Looks kind of all cracked and old. Kind of like this. So we got some nice color on our cornbread. We got the beautiful cornbread hump there, the cornbread lump, the dome of potential cornbready goodness. Now we just want to make sure it's done, which I know it is because we've made this so many times this week. But if you don't know, you can go ahead and take a toothpick, put it right in the middle, and pull it out, and it should come out nice and clean like your conscience. But we're not going to fool with it right now. We're going to leave it in this hot skillet and just let it sit for a bit. And then we'll come back and put it on a cooling rack in just a little while. Beep, 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 beep. Alrighty, so it's been sitting around for about 15 minutes. So let's just see if we can just turn it over and see if it'll fall right out of here. Let's take a look. Boom, boom, boom. It's not falling out. Okay. Let's try that. Okay. Shook it loose. So let's see if that done it. So I gave it a little shake. There you go. Boom, boom, boom. Look at that perfection. Holding together nicely. And see, we got a nice little bit of color on there because our skillet was hot when we put our batter in there, and we left it a little bit in there after we took it out of the oven. But we're going to go ahead and put it on this rack here because it's still nice and warm, but I don't want it to get wet and soggy. So we'll just leave it on this cooling rack now until we're ready to eat some of it.
Can we eat it now?
Yeah, we could eat it now. You want a piece right now?
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and do that then. We'll take it off here. Cut us a little piece.
Get your mama a little piece. Ooh, nice and crusty. Mm.
You can hear that kind of crusty sound when we cut through it.
Nice.
It's coming right out of there. But look how cakey that looks. Now, you don't see any corn in here because we didn't put any corn in here, but we have made this recipe and put whole kernel corn in here. And it really looks very corny when you do that. It is so good.
You gonna share with your camera person?
It's definitely not cornbready, cornbread type cornbread. If you want that to be more cornbready, use a coarsely ground cornmeal. What really makes this cornbread taste great, and it's what made us love it so much when we would get this recipe at that Canadian restaurant, is they would take each slice, and when you ordered it, they would grill it. So like you could put some butter in a skillet and just grill each side of it. So this is the next day, and we're having breakfast cornbread. Got it fried up.
I tell you what, frying it up, you don't want to have this every day, but my God, is it delicious.
Definitely give this recipe a try. You know, it's one of the best cornbreads I've ever had. You know, it'll be written down below, and there's also a link down there. You can go to myfoodchannel.com, print out this corn recipe, print out all our recipes over there. Thanks for watching and sharing our recipes, giving them a thumbs up and leaving them nice comments, or whatever I meant to say. Really appreciate it. We'll see you in the future. Bye-bye.